But when one of their own is killed, they are very determined to catch who did it. In West Yorkshire, detectives worked night and day to track down Sharon's killers, and just 1 week after the murder, were confident they knew who they were looking for. They were Muzakkar Shah, Yusuf Jama, and his brother Mustaf, all members of a London-based criminal gang.
We've got three very dangerous individuals who are on the run, who've demonstrated the total disregard for the police by shooting two of them already. So it's a genuine fear that we have that clearly they could attack other police officers if they were cornered.
The gang's base was an estate in North London called Graham Park. They called themselves the Thug Fam. Muzakkar Shah was their leader. On his shoulder he carried a 5-star tattoo to show he was in charge. His life revolved around violent crime. In this rap song he sings about guns, gangs and killing a cop. His key lieutenants were Somalian asylum seekers Yusuf and Mustaf Jama. They both had a string of convictions. Ironically, Mustaf had been allowed to stay in the UK because to return him to Somalia would have breached his human rights. The gang were not afraid to use guns. Detectives believe this is Muzakkar Shah robbing a North London off-licence at gunpoint. 7 months later, he would travel to Bradford to carry out a similar attack. Before escaping, incredibly, he fires his gun indiscriminately. In Bradford, witnesses said that Shah carried a 9mm pistol and a MAC-10 submachine gun was carried by one of the brothers. Ballistics at the crime scene revealed both weapons were fired. Police believe the MAC-10 jammed, preventing more people being killed. Both of these weapons are widely available among criminal gangs in the UK. For unarmed police officers, they are an increasing threat.
9mm calibre pistols are probably about the most widespread pistols available to the criminal fraternity. There's an awful lot of them on the black market that come in from Eastern Europe, and it's quite easy to pick one up, obviously, if you have the right contacts. Pistols like this are so iconic, even pointing one at someone can be quite intimidating.
For Sharon and Teresa to be confronted by a weapon like this is unimaginable. The other gun was even more sinister.
This is a MAC-10 machine pistol capable of firing 1,100 rounds per minute. That's almost 20 every second. Very much a gun of choice with gangs. It's become a bit of a symbol of handheld firepower at quite an extreme level. When fired, the gun actually rocks around and the rounds will tend to spray everywhere, hence the term spray and pray. It's very indiscriminate.
These were the weapons in the hands of the three fugitives now on the run. Police forces across the UK were put on high alert. For 7 days, nothing. Then, 100 miles away in Birmingham, a breakthrough. West Midlands Police were called to a reported gang rape.
We've got sort of 10 people that have been arrested for rape. We've got a victim that was very traumatised as well, so we're having to deal with her. We've got a number of scenes that we had to secure evidence from, and also we had to recover forensic evidence from all of the people that were in custody.
One of the suspects was taken to the cells by PC Alan Brockbank. He's seen here, booking him in.
He had his hat right down, so all we could actually see was just his eyes. When he took all his clothing off, he's totally calm, totally passive, not looking at anybody. But the young WPC who was with me turned to me and said, "That's that person that's on the briefing." And she gave the biggest smile I've ever seen.
The police suspected the man they had was Yusuf Jama. He told them he was Abdi Ahmed.
And we had to try and work out whether that was the name he'd used before, and then really just try and work out a best way of confirming it.
When the police want to establish a suspect's identity quickly, they use LiveScan. This is a computer system that can instantly read and compare fingerprints to the millions held on the police national computer.
We specifically asked to be compared against Yousef Jama's details because although he was giving false details at the time, we believed he was obviously Yousef Jama.
Would this be the man they were looking for?
About 10 minutes later the results came through and it came back on the confirmation page showing it's Yousef Jama with the correct date of birth, obviously born in Somalia, and obviously this is the point where we knew we got the right man.
That was like every best arrest you could ever wish to. I don't think there was a police officer in the country who didn't want to arrest that person.
West Yorkshire Police had the first of their 3 key suspects, but he wasn't talking. The evidence against him was mounting. A witness had identified him at the scene of the shooting. His fingerprints and DNA were found inside the robber's car. And just 3 hours after the robbery, he was on CCTV at Woolly Edge Services on the M1. This video shows him buying the items found in the car. Yousef Jama was charged with Sharon's murder. Police feared the other 2 wanted men, Mustaf Jama and Muzakkar Shah, would leave the country. Determined to stop that happening, a team of detectives revisited the evidence.
One of the things we always like to do is to review the CCTV work that's been recovered. And what that gives us is opportunity to identify other potential witnesses, other suspects. And this came as a little bit of a shock to me because they realised that there was probably a second car involved.
Detectives spotted a black Mercedes sports car following the Toyota RAV4 out of Bradford after the shooting. On closer examination, they then noticed a green Toyota Corolla was always close by.
We'd gone from having 3 suspects and 1 vehicle, so we've now identified 3 potential vehicles that were involved in the robbery itself.
Only 3 men were seen leaving the travel agents. Only 3 men were being hunted by the police. So who were driving the other cars? How many of them were there? And how were they involved? The investigation was becoming more complex by the hour.